The Canadian International Auto Show returned to Toronto on February 14, 2025. Celebrating the automobile since 1974, it featured over 650,000 square feet of exhibits, displays, and attractions that spanned the north and south buildings of the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. With annual attendance exceeding 370,000, the Canadian International Auto Show is the largest automotive expo in Canada and the country's largest consumer show. For 11 days, car fans, enthusiasts, and potential clients could see, touch, jump into, and compare vehicles from nearly every major automotive manufacturer. At EV Nation, we definitely couldn't miss the chance to witness the excitement and share news about the electric vehicles showcased at the event with you. Cadillac introduced two electric vehicle concepts, Celestiq and Sollei, aiming to compete with ultra-luxury brands like Rolls-Royce and Bentley. One cannot overlook the influence and legacy of classic American cruisers from the 50s and 60s, a time of apparent abundance. However, I view them as the antithesis of sustainable electric mobility. On the other hand, Cadillac surprised me with its sleek, spacious, practical and affordable SUV, the Optiq, starting at $63,000 Canadian dollars. It features attractive and visually appealing styling inside and out. The monarch red color showcased at the booth was irresistible. I appreciate the aesthetics of the driver's workspace, equipped with a 33-inch diagonal 9K advanced LED display, providing a spaceship pilot feel. The infotainment interface is clean and intuitive, with ample customization options. I value the presence of physical buttons for frequently used functions, and the dial buttons and controller on the center console serving as a haptic alternative for touch navigation through the infotainment menu. This is an excellent example of added passive safety and a welcome return to established ergonomic standards. In standard configuration, Vistiq comes with 300 horsepower dual-motor all-wheel drive, up to 486 kilometers of range, 150 kilowatt fast level 3 DC charging capable of adding 127 kilometers of range in about 10 minutes, 19-speaker AKG studio surround sound with Dolby Atmos, and respectable 26 cubic feet or 736 liters of rear cargo volume. Well done, Cadillac. I can't wait to put it to the test. If you seek more luxury, you can opt for the Lyriq, starting at 75,000 Canadian dollars, which offers more space, 515 horsepower dual motor all-wheel drive, 524 kilometers of range, and 190 kilowatt fast level 3 DC charging, capable of adding 138 kilometers of range in about 10 minutes. It also features an even better sound system and 126 color LED dual zone ambient interior lighting that looks very cool. Its largest sibling, the Vistiq, provides 3 rows, accommodating up to 7 passengers. The showcased Escallade IQ represents a class of its own, characterized by abundant space, features, and luxury, which is naturally reflected in its hefty price tag. Similar to the previously mentioned Celestiq and Solterra concepts, this behemoth exemplifies a philosophy that completely erases the idea of sustainability. Chevrolet introduced the affordable Equinox, starting at 51,000 Canadian dollars with an estimated range of up to 513 kilometers for the front-wheel drive model and 459 kilometers for the all-wheel drive model. The larger Blazer begins at 58,000 Canadian dollars with an estimated range of 521 kilometers for the rear-wheel drive model and 449 kilometers for the all-wheel drive model. I plan to explore both models in greater depth and will keep you updated. Ford showcased its Mustang Mach-E line, namely Select and Premium, both available in rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive versions, and GT and Rally available as all-wheel drive only. All models are available with standard 73 kWh or extended range 88 kWh batteries and range from 402 to 451 km based on trim. The fastest GT version with a performance upgrade can accelerate from 0 to 100 km in a respectable 3.5 seconds. Prices range from $58,000 to $78,000. I don't understand why Ford disabled all Mach-E's infotainment system, making the interior feel quite uninspiring and dull. Owners of Cadillac, Chevrolet and Ford electric vehicles can now access Tesla superchargers with approved NACS adapters, offering added peace of mind and alleviating range anxiety during long trips. Stellantis showcased the electrified Dodge Charger Daytona, claiming it to be the world's quickest and most powerful muscle car, accelerating from 0 to 100 km in 4.7 seconds, or 3.3 seconds with the optional Scat Pack, priced at $26,000 on top of the base price. Interestingly, it is not a rear-wheel drive one might expect, but a dual-motor all-wheel drive vehicle. The estimated range is 388 km and the car features 180 kW fast level 3 DC charging. The interior aligns with the vehicle's sporty character, and the instrument cluster is very clear and function-oriented. The Charger Daytona offers multiple driving modes, including drag and track, to satisfy all the sporty tastes of its owner. Jeep showcased the lounge edition of its Wagoneer S SUV. The range is claimed to be 488 km, it accelerates from 0 to 100 km in under 4 seconds, and can charge from 20 to 80% in 23 minutes. The Jeep Select Terrain traction management system features a drive mode selector that offers auto, snow, sport and eco modes. However, this vehicle is not intended for heavy off-road use. According to the manufacturer, it boasts the best-in-class 45 inches of total display screen area among electric vehicles, including a personal display for the front passenger and a 1160-watt Macintosh Premium Entertainment System with 19 premium speakers and a 12-inch subwoofer. My favorite vehicle at the Stellantis booth was the adorable Fiat 500e, the most affordable electric vehicle on the Canadian market, starting at $32,000. Despite small size, I, standing at 6 feet 5 inches or 195 centimeters, could adjust my sitting position comfortably. Legroom behind me was, understandably, practically non-existent for an average-size adult, but this is not a family long-distance hauler. It serves as a mobile grocery bag, an urban mover, yet capable of providing comfortable longer rides for a couple. Its practicality is further enhanced by the foldable rear seats, with easy access through the rear hatch. The car has a 42 kWh battery, providing approximately 240 km of range, and 85 kW level 3 fast DC charging, allowing it to reach 80% of the battery capacity in about 35 minutes. This car is, for me personally, a clear winner of the Canadian Electric Car of the Year award, but on that later. I hope to test drive it to provide first-hand impressions. Germany's luxury trio featuring Audi, BMW and Mercedes returned to the auto show, and it was clear from the crowds at their booth that they were welcomed back with great enthusiasm. Audi presented several e-tron models, namely the S6, SQ6 and Q6. The cherry on the cake at the Audi exhibition was the RS GT with 912 horsepower and acceleration from 0 to 100 km in just 2.5 seconds. It is equipped with e-torque vectoring plus, which helps ensure stability and handling in most driving situations, and an adaptable all-wheel drive system that intuitively powers each axle individually. The car is built on 800-volt technology, allowing it to charge the battery from 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes, using 320 kW level 3 fast DC charging, but good luck finding a charging station with that power. BMW showcased its commitment to electrification with the i4, the 2025 AJAC Electric Car of the Year winner, as well as the i5, i7 and iX. Car show visitors had the opportunity to test drive all these vehicles, and I observed that many took advantage of it. Mercedes-Benz presented its EQ SUV line, specifically the EQB300, EQE500 and EQS Maybach. A standout feature of their exhibit was an electrified, rigid, heavy-duty off-road G580 with EQ technology. Mercedes proudly demonstrated its ability to climb 45-degree inclines and showcased an impressive feature called G-turn. Fine print. Executing this stunt requires appropriate driving conditions, so from my perspective it's a nice show-off gimmick I wouldn't recommend attempting too often. Or make sure to allocate extra budget for the spare tires. On a serious note, Mercedes-Benz announced its own network of high-power charging stations. The first station is set to debut this year in Metro Vancouver, with more locations coming in 2026, including Toronto. The 400 kW DC fast chargers will feature both CCS and NACS connectors. These smart charging stations are open to all electric vehicles while Mercedes-Benz drivers enjoy exclusive benefits such as automatic charger reservations enabled by the native navigation with electric intelligence feature available on electric Mercedes models, along with the plug and charge feature for users of the Mercedes Me app. I must share my personal feelings that despite my long-lasting admiration and fandom for the aforementioned German brands, I'm quite disappointed by the lack of true innovation one has come to expect from them prior to the rise of electric vehicles. Stylistically, Audi stands out, BMW must finally decide what to do with the front grille, and it seems that Mercedes has completely lost its bold, confident look with Bruno Sacco's influential creative leadership painfully absent. Necessary savings on manufacturing costs are evident in the selected materials across all of brands. The gesture control and ambient sounds produced by field composer Hans Zimmer in the BMWs or G-Turn on the Mercedes G580 feel more like gimmicks than tools people will frequently use. Increased range, radically new concepts, more intelligence and fun, aren't these what we expect from German engineering? Are they prepared to navigate the rapid changes in personal transportation as its paradigm shifts? What are your thoughts? Please let me know in the comments. Honestly, I don't understand why AJAC awarded the BMW i for the title of Canadian Electric Car of the Year. In my opinion, several candidates deserve this distinction much more, especially when considering affordability and value, both of which are crucial for accelerating the still hesitant adoption of electric vehicles as a solution for a sustainable future, if we are truly serious about it. To conclude this section, I was surprised by the absence of Porsche and, given its extensive lineup of electric vehicles and global ambitions, Volkswagen. It is evident that the German automotive industry is going through a challenging period that requires serious restoration, a tough task amid rapidly growing and fierce competition from China and, surprisingly, even North America. Let's return from the map to the auto show. Hyundai showcased well-known and established models including the Kona, starting at 46,000 Canadian dollars, Ioniq 5 and 6, starting at 55,000 Canadian dollars, and Ioniq 5N, starting at 78,000 Canadian dollars. The Ioniq 5N was awarded the 2025 AJAC Electric Utility Vehicle of the Year. By the way, this is another strange nomination. Performance Electric Hatchback Utility EV? Really, AJAC? The booth also featured the upcoming 2026 Ioniq 9, which I believe is derived from the Kia EV9. I tried to get more information about it from the product specialist at the booth, but I was informed there was an information embargo on it. Strangely enough, it was available on Hyundai's website, and even more information could be found in the printed 2025 Auto Show official program brochure. According to that, the Ioniq 9 is expected to achieve a range of 540 kilometers and can charge from 10 to 80% in just 24 minutes on a 350 kilowatt charger, which, to be honest, is quite rare. A 160 kilowatt rear motor powers the long-range rear-wheel drive version, while the all-wheel drive version adds a 70 kilowatt front motor, and the all-wheel drive plus models feature 160 kilowatt motors at both the front and rear. Kia presented the Niro, starting at 48,000 Canadian dollars, the EV6 starting at 59,000, and the EV9, which placed second in the 2025 AJAC Electric Utility Vehicle of the Year competition, starting at 63,000 Canadian dollars. However, I believe the Kia EV9 is a moral winner here, especially compared to the Ioniq 5N, which in my humble opinion shouldn't have even been nominated in this category. The Kia EV9 was also named the 2024 North American Utility Vehicle of the Year, 2024 World Electric Vehicle, and 2024 World Car of the Year. The EV9 is built on Kia's advanced eGMP modular platform, delivering up to 489 kilometers of range. It can seat up to 7 people, features adjustable LED ambient lighting, and can tow up to 5,000 pounds or 2,067 kilograms. A little bit details like the fingerprint reader initiating the driver's profile and the vehicle is an example of the one I refer to as missing in the section about the German exhibitors. Kia also offered a glimpse on the new EV5 model expected in 2026, but no information was available at the booth or on their website. Apparently, it will be a smaller and more affordable SUV for those who don't need 3 rows of seats. It retains the same visual language as EV9, and I believe it has the potential to be a big hit depending on the pricing, which Kia traditionally sets very competitively. Lexus showcased its electric SUV, the RZ450h, which shares its platform with Toyota's BZ4X and Subaru Solterra. Lexus has slightly improved the range and removed an unusual fast charging limit. However, it unfortunately lags significantly behind the competition in terms of range. The styling, quality of workmanship and materials inside the cabin are top-notch, as expected from this brand. Still, I am uncertain if this is enough to attract discerning customers seeking luxury, with the reasonable long-distance range expected in this price segment. Lucid presented its luxury sedan, the Air, which ranked 3rd in the 2025 AJAC Electric Car of the Year category. It offers one of the best ranges in its class, from 653 to 824 kilometers, depending on the trim. It features fast level 3 DC charging, allowing for up to 300 kilometers of range in as little as 11 minutes, again depending on the trim. Additionally, it can utilize Tesla's supercharger network. Lucid also showcased the fenced prototype of its upcoming 3-row luxury SUV Gravity, which is projected to have a range of up to 720 kilometers and is expected to arrive this year. I will follow up on its further development. Nissan presented the Ariya, which is available in 3 trim levels. Engage and Evolve are offered exclusively as front-wheel drive models, while the Evolve Plus features selectable front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options. Ariya offers ranges from 350 to 460 kilometers, with prices ranging from 53 to 63,000 Canadian dollars. In my opinion, the entry-level Engage offers excellent value for urban commuting, considering its features, comfort and cargo space. I was hoping to see the premiere of the new Leaf, but I will have to wait until next year. Polestar introduced the Polestar 2, Polestar 3 and the brand new Polestar 4. Historically, Polestar served as Volvo's performance tuning specialist, much like AMG for Mercedes. It became an independent brand in 2017 with its headquarters in Sweden, aiming to offer a sporty alternative to Tesla. Polestar currently manufactures vehicles in South Korea and the United States. I must confess that the Polestar 4, which I had the opportunity to test drive, truly impressed me. With a range of up to 48 kilometers, its handling, elegant and futuristic interior crafted from high-quality materials, excellent ergonomics, and clever menu system, along with its starting price of 65,000 Canadian dollars, all contributed to my excitement. I will revisit this model and the Polestar in the upcoming episodes. Rivian introduced the R2 model, a smaller and more affordable sibling to the R1. It provides a range of up to 480 kilometers, and the quickest powertrain configuration enables acceleration from 0 to 96 kilometers in under 3 seconds. The price starts at 67,000 Canadian dollars. The R2 features 2 rows of seats and relies heavily on touch-based controls, similar to Tesla. However, there is a display located in front of the driver. Additionally, the R2 offers generously sized rear cargo space and a trunk for extra storage. Subaru presented the Solterra all-wheel drive, which is available in 3 trims starting at 59,000 Canadian dollars, quite steep considering the limited range of only 359 kilometers. The BZ4X displayed at the Toyota booth doesn't impress with a range of only 406 kilometers in the LE front-wheel drive version, or even less at 367 kilometers in the LE all-wheel drive version. However, Toyota compensates for this with a highly competitive starting price of just 49,000 Canadian dollars for either models, leaving the choice up to you, range or better handling. In both cases, it serves as a comfortable family hauler with plenty of cargo space. If you don't frequently travel long distances and your primary requirement is urban family driving, the BZ4X represents a valuable proposition. Tesla showcased the Model Y update, Juniper, starting at 88,000 Canadian dollars compared to 68 for the original, which feels excessive in my opinion. The refreshed front and rear styling suits the vehicle well. The added interior light accents create a homely feel, and the most significant addition is the front camera, which finally enables the driver to view the front of the vehicle on the information display. Hallelujah! I never really understood how a visionary vehicle of Tesla's caliber could have been introduced to the market without it. The front camera is positioned dangerously low, and I expect it will be quite challenging to avoid dust or spray from the wet road affecting its view, despite Tesla's reassurance that measures have been implemented to prevent this from happening. We shall see, or shall we not? Just kidding. Tesla also presented the Model 3 Highland starting at 63,000 Canadian dollars, along with the pricier luxury Model S. However, both were overshadowed by the undeniable magnet and main attraction of their exhibition, the almighty Tesla Cybertruck. Tesla brought more than 10 units for test drives, and the interest was enormous. I don't cover electric trucks on this channel just yet, as they are different animals with unique requirements that I am not familiar with. However, the Cybertruck, as controversial as it is, and as much a lifestyle statement versus a traditional truck, definitely deserves its own dedicated episode, so stay tuned. Tesla also unveiled the robotaxi concept, which I discussed with David Zeno, a Tesla representative from Montreal headquarters. Our engaging and friendly conversation ended without a conclusion because of his exhibition duties, so I plan to meet with him again. Another episode of EV Nation is on its way. Vietnamese VinFast faces challenges in anchoring its brand in the Canadian market. They introduced their upcoming new models. The attractive VF6 featuring a 60 kWh battery and approximately 400 km of range, and the larger, more spacious VF7, which I believe has true potential to become VinFast's true lucky number 7, especially the single-motor version with 450 km of range and a roomy, bright, eye-catching interior. I must confess that both the VF6 and VF7 have very appealing styling. The interiors are spacious, and I also appreciate the materials used. The only caveat I have is VinFast's approach to the information system, which lacks a display in front of the driver. The prices haven't yet been announced. VinFast also showcased the VF8 starting at 56,000 Canadian dollars and the VF9 starting at 77,000 Canadian dollars, both of which have been available on the Canadian market for some time now. Volvo presented the compact CX-30, and the visual cues from its former partner Polestar's existing models are unmistakable. In my opinion, the value it offers starting at 57,000 Canadian dollars is questionable in every aspect, unless your preference leans towards a historically established and well-respected brand in the market with a strong safety record. So what are the main takeaways from this year's Toronto Autoshow? Electric vehicles moved from the sidelines to the forefront. They were no longer confined and inert, but rather unlocked, active, and connected. Visitors could touch and feel them and interact with their information systems. Additionally, visitors could test drive and compare many of them right on the spot at the indoor test track through the test drives offered by various OEMs. This is fantastic and promising for the future adoption. I am convinced that auto shows have risen from the ashes thanks in part to electric vehicles representing a new impulse in the automotive industry. Traditional mainstream OEMs, and more surprisingly domestic ones, are catching up. The gap between them and the original electric mobility innovators is narrowing, and they are beginning to leverage their experience and knowledge in areas such as ergonomics and the quality of the manufacturing process. This is undoubtedly good news for customers who will ultimately benefit from a more competitive market with lower prices. I would love to witness a full-blown head-to-head clash featuring the mainstream Chinese OEMs present at the show. This would provide insight into the true state of the electric vehicle industry, free from artificial obstacles like tariffs that impede progress and adoption. Such barriers ultimately harm both the end user and the environment. My question is why customers must navigate these hurdles when addressing environmental issues is supposedly a top priority for the government, at least in theory. The internationally standardized nomenclature for the EV economy is still lacking and is referred to as range, which I find misleading. Just as there is a distinction between city and highway economy for ICE vehicles, a comparable standard should be established for EVs. For instance, providing an estimated range at 20 degrees Celsius and at -10 degrees Celsius would offer customers more realistic data and expectations based on the climate in which the EV will be used. It is understood that this would be necessary until battery technology advances and ultimately overcomes the limitations imposed by its current physical principles. By the way, if you are interested in learning how cold temperatures affect battery performance, feel free to watch this episode of EV Nation, which also discusses how to mitigate this issue. If you have noticed, I haven't covered electric trucks, and yes, there have been many of them. My apologies. My unfamiliarity with this subject and my lack of hands-on experience in this field do not, I believe, place me in a position to offer relevant advice or make adequate comments that viewers of the EV Nation could fully rely on. If you would like to help me cover this segment of the electric mobility, feel free to reach out. It would be my pleasure to welcome you on board. My participation in the auto show has offered even greater inspiration, especially from a unique yet equally intriguing perspective. Interested? Stay tuned. The bucket is quite full and many topics will be explored in the future. Most importantly, the auto show allowed me to meet many inspirational people, both experts and enthusiasts. I would love to get to know them better and introduce them here on EV Nation because we aspire to be a hub where the electric vehicle fan community regularly gathers and interacts. As always, I eagerly await your input, responses or arguments to spark interesting and fruitful dialogue. See you soon and engage!